Oh, hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to the New Biker channel and to another live stream. I see Slow Rider and Lily Northova are in the chat. Hello, guys. Great to see you. Thank you very much for taking the time and for supporting. Oh, hi, Grint. Hello. Great to have you guys. If you're watching, don't be shy. Put some comments in the chat. Just a slight change to the announced plans. Mr. Rhythmic Biker is a little bit out of rhythm and apparently stuck on the M5, so he won't be able to make it. And without further ado, let's bring in the star guest for the evening, Mr. Uncle Red.
Star guest. That's quite
star guest. You are both the best guest and the worst guest tonight because you're the only one.
Yeah, I will hopefully live up to those expectations.
Even my so-called friends from the Southwest, none of them are up for it. Phil's cooking a barbecue. Adam is working. Jeff Saddlebag says, he's got to spend time with his wife or something like that. I don't know. I don't understand that kind of stuff.
And all very convenient reasons.
Next Rider's going to the beach with his family. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, it's fine.
These guys have got the priorities all wrong.
Wow.
Anyway, great to see you.
Yeah.
It's been a hot minute.
It has, yeah. I think the last time we properly met up was it our trip to Gasoline Juice? That was. Ooh.
I think we're on the Exeter Rider live stream. Then we did have a nice trip to Gasoline Juice.
Yeah.
Which I've got my friend from work, my partner, my business partner, is really good. He has got a couple of really nice classic cars, and I've been kind of teasing him. We need to go to Gasoline Juice.
Come on.
It never kind of works out. I'm gonna have to drag him over there.
Yeah.
But yeah. Hi, Peaky. Back. Is the Wildbat weekend over already? Okay. Anyway, so yeah, thank you very much. We've kind of been trying to organize this for a while now, but everybody's been kind of busy with this and that and the other. I went to Scotland, and you've recently been to France.
Yeah. So it's been an experience.
Was that like your first tour?
On the bikes, yes. Previously done a couple of school trips, but I don't suppose those really count. But yeah, bike tour. Yeah.
Did you ever tour in the UK as well, or was it just like straight in, rip the band-aid, let's go to the continent and do the first tour, bike tour kind of?
So when I had the Vulcan S, I tried to do sort of a week in Wales. Unfortunately, it was also in September, and it was also when we had a rather large storm hit the UK. So I think I stayed one night in like a glamping area. Some of my neighbors with dogs didn't quite know how to keep the noise down, so I said, well, the weather's crap, these people won't shut up, so I'll just go home. So yeah, that was sort of originally what I was hoping to do, but we ended up doing that with sort of France instead. So stay in one area, one day go here, go there, and just see how you get along, how the bike gets along, and what kind of material you can produce day by day. But yeah, that didn't quite work out. So thankfully, we sort of got together with a few friends who were already organizing it, and they sort of opened that up to myself, to Rhythmic as well, and said, we're doing this. Do you want to come along? And we said, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And it sort of became a whole thing.
So is the intent when you go, is the intent to go to create content, or is it the content like secondary to the trip?
The problem is, like, so I have a very creative mindset. So my head is always turned on to the idea of, can I get a picture of that? Can I get a bit of video of this? So my intention was, if I can create content, do it, but don't let that take away from the actual reason why we're going to France, which is just to have a holiday.
Okay.
But at the same time, yeah, as I said, with my head being what it is, it's kind of like, well, I'm going to be bored in 5 minutes if we're just sat at like a cafe, so I'm going to whip the camera out and I'm going to want to get pictures or something. And yeah, so it was a nice balance of the two, I think.
Okay. So who was it that actually organized it? Organized the whole thing?
So Ali and Hayden, so Redlocks and Biltong11 on Instagram, go follow them. They had it all sort of planned out, and they extended it to us. So Hayden, bless him, basically took the lead throughout the entire ride, and that allowed the rest of us just to sort of filter in behind him and just sort of see how it goes. Um, at the same time, he recently got the copyright navigation thing, so he had all the navigations right in front of him. Ali also had that set up as well, so we had a way where if the group did get split up, we were still able to sort of rendezvous together at the same destination. Plus, you got the intercoms and that sort of stuff going on as well. So yeah, Hayden, bless him, took the lead on all of this and was the one who ultimately planned out where we were going day by day.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good to have. I mean, when I go on the tours that I've been to Wales and Scotland this year, there's a guy, Macca. He's like the leader, and he plans everything to the nth detail. Like,
Yeah,
we just have to say,
it's
let's
great to
go,
have someone like that.
and it's like when you start to think, oh, I could use with a break right now. Suddenly, we're stopping at a really lovely cafe with nice views, and
That's it. Yeah,
he's researched that they're going to be open on that day, because in some places
yeah,
they're not open. And when I'm planning my trip to France, I'm looking, okay, oh, this is a really nice cafe, and you go on Google and you look up the place, and it says, well, I'm going to be there on a Tuesday, closed on Tuesdays. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
God damn it. So
Pains of planning stuff is immeasurable.
to have somebody who's figured all that out, and then
Yeah,
on the day before the trip, he'll like make sure that there are no road closures, that and when he's researching, he'll make sure the place caters for vegetarians, vegans, whatever kind of dietary restrictions there are. It's
yeah,
perfect.
that's it.
So how long were you in France for?
So we ended up going down to Folkestone on the Saturday, left first thing Sunday morning, and then we came back on the Friday. So maths, terrible, but was it 5 days?
Okay.
And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, yeah. So 5 days, and then yeah, bit of traveling involved in all that as well. Fun.
Okay. And which part did you go to?
So we stayed in Normandy. I think the vast majority of what we did was confined to the area of Normandy as well.
Okay.
So yeah, if my search on the Googly Goo is correct, then yeah, it's Normandy strictly was the region that we stuck to. Which
Okay, so like
is
based around the sort of D-Day landing sites
oh
and
yeah,
history.
that's it. Yeah,
Yeah, okay. I've seen Grant's videos on it when you guys were visiting like the bunkers and stuff.
that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
So fun little one. Namely the words come on. I took a school trip a number of years ago, obviously, child, and I ended up finding out that we had been to these bunkers before. So as we came up to the guns, I'm looking at them, I'm thinking, I recognize these, but
That looks familiar.
yeah, exactly. And then I sort of put two and two together, and I realized, oh, I was here some 20 years ago, apparently. And it suddenly dawns on you, it's like, wow, that's a lot of time, but still to remember stuff and to explore it all over again from a renewed perspective, because now you're older, you know a bit more about the conflicts and the struggles of the people on the ground. It's you get a whole new appreciation for the history that was made there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like that he gave the perspective of thinking about, because these were human beings on the other side, right? And if you look, if you see our World War II movies, it's like they don't exist. They're just there as bodies flying off the explosion. But you try to put yourself
Yeah,
in the position of somebody who's basically being said, here's a rifle, go and man that bunker.
that's it. Yeah,
Absolutely madness.
I think if I remember correctly, I think it's four guns that the Germans had set up. They fired, I think it was around 70 or 100 shots, didn't hit a single thing because they they didn't receive like proper training when it came to targeting stuff. They'd get coordinates from the guys at the front to say,
Yeah,
"Hey, this coordinate fire here," but you're firing a very large caliber round at
yeah,
what is essentially a boat that's also moving on the sea. So the chances
yeah,
of hitting something are quite low. But
yeah,
if it did hit, that would be devastating.
yeah, yeah. No, it's always shocking how much human life and materials we've wasted along the our kind of collective human history in these conflicts.
Yeah,
It kind of always hits me when I visit these places.
that's it.
It always
And
hits
it's
me.
the contrast of it as well is there is a unique kind of there is a unique innovation that happens during conflict. Not always for the best,
Mm,
but some of the technologies which we have now, and we can mention one name, Alan Turing, the godfather of computer as we know it. It's these sort of innovations which bring us to modern day as to what it is, and it's kind of like, wow, if that conflict didn't happen, would we have what we have now? But then the price of human lives, and as you say, the resources which we've spent on it is astronomical.
yeah, just the amount of raw materials and steel that was made and then just destroyed and explosives and all that. And yeah, it's just, and I'm very familiar with Alan Turing because I'm a computer science grad.
Yeah.
So we kind of studied it, and we kind of had to create our own Turing machines, which are these things where you think, oh, okay, there's a tape and it's moving along, and you have to program it. And
Okay. Brilliant.
yeah, and the thing is, you can create a Turing machine that interprets a Turing machine. That's the ultimate test for any programming languages. Can you make a programming language that can compile its own programming language and read code and create a program from it, like a
Wow.
runnable? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're kind of getting away from the topic. So
Yeah.
France is a favorite topic of mine because I was there last year.
Oh,
What
do
kind of
tell.
weather did you have?
I think we had 1.5 days of sunshine. The Wednesday was spectacular. The rest of it was kind of cloudy and then on and off showers. So, being the only one that wasn't in any sort of waterproof gear, I was very limited to, oh, I'm going to get wet. But then 20 minutes later, after the rain stopped, I'm relatively dry again. Meanwhile, everyone else, they're dry from the rain, but they're sweating because it's hot and they've got waterproofs and the air's not getting to them. So I take that as a victory. But ultimately, yeah, the weather could have been better.
Okay, so what I thought we might do, because you sent me a couple of clips, what I
Yes.
thought we might do is we might have a rain off and see
Go
whose
on then.
rain was worse. So for the people watching, we're going to be asking later on, like to vote for Red's rain or Noob's rain. So first of all, let's have a look at your clip um, with your rain. Let me see if I can make this work. Yeah, I bet it's the music, but
Appropriate music.
it's the same music that I had on my field. Yeah, that looks very foggy. Yeah.
Yeah, having fun.
Oh, that looks like pleasant.
Miserable is one word for it, yeah.
That's a very wet biker there.
Yep.
Okay, so that was you,
Mm-hmm.
and this was me by comparison when I was there
Let's see
in
what you got.
last year. Yeah, that bit at the end was right at the top of like a mountain hut thing where they were serving food and stuff, and I thought, oh, that sounds like a lovely place to have a
Yeah.
hot chocolate. But just to get there, it was just you're going up these hairpins, and it's just chucking it down. There's water running across, the wind's blowing
Yeah.
you off the side of the road, and you're like, oh my god.
It's all worth it
Oh,
when you get to the top though, right? right?
Oh, you could see the views. The view of
Yeah,
that flag flapping in the incessant wind and the beautiful grey skies was definitely
yeah.
worth the trip.
Gives you a whole new perspective on life, doesn't it?
But sometimes you have to suffer through the rain to get to the sunshine.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's get some comments here. So
Yeah.
Andy GSA Tractor says only rain. We got snow. Where did you get snow, Andy? Where were you when you got snow? I still remember riding to when Aisha and I went to Colchester Kawasaki when I was test riding the Guzzi V100. It was chucking it down on the way. So yeah, I am getting a reputation for attracting rain, which I think is very unfair. Okay. So German Jobbies is asking how you're getting on with the Strom. So actually, before we get to the Strom, so tell us what exactly happened with the Rogue,
The Scout.
the Scout.
Oh boy. Long version or short version? How long have we got?
As long as you want. We're only 17 minutes in. It's only the two of us.
Okay, so I think as I mentioned in one of my vlogs, I think I had a bad Scout, and I'm not trying to to crap on the brand that is Indian. However, the place where I got it from, I have not had a fantastic relationship with them in regards to communication and all that sort of stuff. So originally, I got tires replaced, and I thought, well, if you're doing the tires, the bike's done a few thousand miles at this point. Let's just get a service in to make sure that she's absolutely fine and wonderful. They did the service, and then when I got her back, the handlebars were kind of a bit closer towards me. So I thought, oh, I kind of like it because it just makes everything a lot more relaxed. But at the same time, the controls were tilted like that as well. And while I was out, I think I'd just come back. It was a very, very hot day. I was supposed to meet up with a few friends to then go up to Northampton, where they've got like a charity event on Tuesday evenings. Workbridge, that's the one. Words. And yeah, got home, dropped off what I needed to, and then when I took the bike out again, there was, I think, a couple of minutes. It was fine, but when I got onto the dual carriageways, natural speed limits, there was no power coming out of the bike, and the Scout is not a slug. It does shift pretty
Oh, I
significantly.
know. I've been on rides
Yeah,
with you.
yeah. So yeah, basically what had happened was the clutch cable had sort of frayed over time, and the clutch was working a lot harder than it should have done, and the clutch burnt out. So as I'm trying to gun it
Sorry, how,
past this
how old
car,
how old was this bike?
I would say the bike itself may have been about a year old at that point. I think I had it for 7 months. So we're
And
talking
the clutch
about.
cable had frayed.
Mhm. So what I found out, because the bike had no acceleration whatsoever, trying to overtake cars, even set off on the roundabouts and such, Milton Keynes roundabouts everywhere. There was nothing really happening, so I had to sort of reluctantly head back and sort of see what the problem was. Um, Turns out that when the guys had done a service and the handlebars and the controls have been brought towards me, that extra movement has increased the distance of the clutch, or it's stretched out the cable. It could be about a centimeter or so. That was the problem. That's what's
Right.
caused the clutch to burn out, apparently. Um, so the bike's
Because it was
under
taking the
warranty.
pressure off, so they were rubbing on each other and
Yes,
wearing out. Okay.
that's precisely it. Yeah. I took the bike back, and for 2 weeks I had no communication. So I went to them. I said, "Okay, well, it's been 2 weeks. What's going on?" And it's kind of, "Oh yeah, yeah, we're still looking into it. We think it's something to do with the clutch." I said, "Well, yeah." Do you want to elaborate on that, or because because I'm quite aware of where the issue is. But so by this point, I think I'd been led to believe by one member of staff who now doesn't work there anymore, that the clutch had been replaced, which it hadn't. So was it a few days or maybe the next weekend? I get called in, say, yeah, bike's ready. I took it out for a spin, and it was fine at sort of like 2, 3, 4,000 revs. But when you gun it, same issue all over again. All they've done is apparently just adjusted the clutch cable.
But
Problem
not
still
replace the
persisted.
plates.
Nope. So they hadn't even opened up the clutch compartment, because to do that you've got to take the entire exhaust off. I understand it's a lot of work. But yeah, so I took the bike back to them the same day and I said that's not fixed. And then we arranged for a courtesy bike, which was the Indian FTR. Lovely bike.
Yeah.
So cut a long story short, it took them 2.5 months to replace this clutch and the cable. And during that time, I had then switched from the FTR. I tried out a Suzuki, I think one of the new GSX S's or something like that. Didn't like that. And then I got put on the V-Strom 1050. I thought, I quite like this bike. I've never been adventure bike at this point. But I was sort of warming up to the idea of being able to really maneuver this bike around. I can now take corners faster. Just, it's a much more balanced ride rather than having to try and like think ahead more than you would usually on a motorcycle, because the Scout only has so much it can lean over by, which drastically reduces your maneuverability. So again, by this point, there was barely any communication by them. I'm sending emails and so on and so forth to say, what's going on. I'm getting very little in response back. So I'm then having to go to the dealership on the courtesy bike they've lent me to say what's going on. That didn't work out too well, but eventually I do get the bike back. Hooray. A week later, the battery dies. Cool. So the guy brings a new battery down. No, sorry, that was the FTR. Yeah, the FTR battery died, so the guy brought down a new battery. That didn't work. So that ended up going back. Then I had the V-Strom, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so yeah, when I got Misty, the Scout, back, got the battery replaced, free of charge, fantastic. And then I think 2 or 3 weeks after that, the clutch went again.
Oh, geez.
So I thought, right, so we've been here before, and naturally I brought the bike back and I said, I'm not a happy bunny, because you've already proved sort of relatively unreliable when it comes to communication and even fixing the bike. So have the bike back. I'll take the V-Strom again, and I'll have fun. And yeah, I think it was around mid-February, late February, at this point, I said, I'm done with this bike. It's unreliable. It's a pain in the ass. I can't do longer trips on it simply because of the noise coming off the exhaust, which is lovely. But after about an hour or so, it gets very disorientating if you're not used to that level of noise.
Yeah, it makes you very tired, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah.
So was this like a main franchise dealer for India?
I'm not sure if it was main franchise like Crazy Horse and so on and so forth, but they definitely had the licenses to sell India merchandise and their bikes.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not too sure about the whole retail part of it from that perspective, but yeah.
Is this the problem, right? Because it is the relationship with your dealer or the person who's going to be working on your bike is such a big part of the ownership experience of any motorcycle you have.
Yes.
Because
when that relationship breaks down,
eventually something's going to go wrong. And stuff has gone wrong with my Kawasaki, but it's like I can just go. I can walk to the dealership.
Yeah, that's it.
Or I can WhatsApp somebody at the dealership, and they're so good at communicating and being honest and saying, okay, this is the issue. This is what we're going to do. It's going to take this long. That I don't have to be wondering what's going on, and that makes such a big difference as opposed to you having to chase them not responding, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I mean, I did actually send them an email at one point that said, look, I need a breakdown of how long you've spent on this bike, what work you've done on it, because nothing's going anywhere. I'm just waiting to get my bike back, which is a significant investment. You know, I don't take that kind of thing lightly. And I think I actually complained at one of the motorcycle lives to the guys at Indian and said, "Look, I'm not getting any communication. Can you contact head office and ask them to step in?" I didn't get anything from that. I would trust something was perhaps said in the background, but yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, by this point, my confidence in them is at an all-time low.
Well, understandably so. Understandably so.
Yeah.
But
so,
but then you made a decision. You took the plunge and you said, "Okay, that's it. I've had my fun with this,
yep,
but this isn't fun anymore.
that's it. Yeah.
I'm going to go in a different direction." And so you got.
Yeah.
So is your V-Strom a V twin or is it a parallel twin?
It is a V twin. Yeah.
It's a
V-twin.
V. It's just, so
Yeah.
it's the old style.
Yes.
The old style V-Strom. Okay. Not the P-Strom as I'm calling it.
No. And yeah, it was kind of nice because in all regards, this black and red bike just showed up in the showroom one day, pre-owned or something. I looked at it and I thought, okay, interesting. Had a look and it seemed relatively well priced and so on and so forth. So I said, okay. I went in there mid-February and said, I don't want this Scout anymore. Which is one of the most difficult things to say when you, like, by this point I didn't love the bike anymore. When I first got it, beautiful, stunning, great, but I think at this point I was done with cruisers because I've experienced the sort of adventure bike, the maneuverability, all that good stuff. And it sucked. It really hurt to say that over the counter, to say I don't want my bike anymore. I want this one. You know, I'm basically riding the same bike. I want this full time.
Sorry, let me interject because before the Scout, you had the Vulcan.
Yes.
And so have you always been like a cruiser style rider?
Yeah.
So you never
So
had any other type of bike before?
no, my first bike was a cheap Chinese cruiser, which I think I did about 30 miles on, but I was too scared to ride it. And then when I got back into biking many years later, I had a Suzuki Marauder 125, which was, excuse me, a lovely, lovely bike. But that was the point of me getting into motorcycles. I loved cruisers. I just loved them. And then suddenly, yeah, everything has just been turned upside down because suddenly you've got this completely different bike to what you're used to, and you sort of sit on it and think, "Oh no, I really like this." And yeah, just everything about it was just like, what am I doing with my life? Why am I still on cruisers? So yeah, thankfully this V-Strom was just there, and I said to him, "Look, I want that bike. Give me." And I got handed over to one of the newer members of staff there, lovely bloke, gift of the gab, like you wouldn't believe. And he was able to get me a very, very good trade-in on the Scout. So here's the V-Strom. So once all the paperwork and everything's done, it's like, cool, this is now your bike. But he asked me, he's like, "Oh, when are you going to bring your bike in?" I remember saying to him, I said, "If you look through that window over there, right, there's my bike. You've still got it. I've not had that for a month." I think, yeah, it was about a month by this point. The second time it was with them to get the clutch done.
My bike is, one careful owner that always been looked after by the main dealership.
Yeah, one careful owner.
Low mileage.
That's it. Yeah. Well. So, yeah, bless him. Like he was so fantastic, and it was customer service. And I remember thinking to myself, like, "Holy crap! This is like the light at the end of the tunnel for these guys, and hopefully he can bring things forward and just have that customer relations, which I've not had for so long with this place. And even still, now that the whole trade's done, everything's great, fantastic. The V-Strom needs a service, and I really don't want to take it back to them because I just
is it like a warranty? Is it like a warranty service?
I don't think it'll be covered by warranty. I can always ask them. But the
No,
problem
because
is,
sometimes if your bike is still on the manufacturer's warranty, you have to get it
right?
serviced
Yeah,
at a dealer.
yeah.
Otherwise, you've always the warranty. So is it one of those, or is it out of warranty already?
I'd have to double check. I'd have to double check. I know it's got a year's warranty with them anyway.
Right.
But if I can get 100% that it's definitely under Suzuki's warranty, I'll go somewhere else.
Well, that's the thing. Depending on what kind of service it is, right? My strong opinion is as much of the servicing that you can do yourself, you should
Yeah,
do yourself, because you know who's doing it, and you know that you're going to pay attention to the stuff that he's paying attention to. So as
yeah,
much as I can, oil I'll do myself, brake fluid I'll do myself. Just today I changed the battery on my Kawasaki, just because there was nothing wrong with the battery, but I'm about to go on a tour.
yeah.
My bike is 6 years old. It still has the original battery in it. Batteries typically last about 5 to 8 years.
Somewhere around there.
The
Yeah,
last place I want to have a problem with my battery is somewhere up in the Swiss Alps.
that's it.
So
And you
changing it out.
think everything that can go wrong with a bike, the battery. So it's replace it. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So happy with it. It's I see that you put some kind of weird fluffy stuff on your seat. But what's that all about?
The fluffy is wonderful. That I think because previously when I had the V-Strom, I took a trip down to Canterbury, which is about 2 and a bit hours, and by that time, you spend long enough on a bike, you're going to get a bit of a sore bum. So the fluffy, as I refer to it, has sort of eliminated that almost completely. It's taken significantly longer for me to feel the fatigue of the rear, let's say. So I'll be blunt. I have a affiliate link with Moto Covers. If you're interested, let me know. But yeah, that has, I think, been a lifesaver, simply for comfort on that trip, and it's also
Okay.
kept me sort of. It's kept me above the water that usually drips down to the lovely areas when you're stuck on a bike for a number of hours. You don't want to be sitting on a puddle.
Okay.
So
So
yeah,
it helps with kind of ventilation, comfort,
that's
and
precisely it. Yeah, yeah.
okay. Okay. I mean, I used to think that the seat on my Kawasaki, this one here, when I initially changed to it from my Ninja 650,
Yeah,
I used to think that the seat was really hard. But after about 6 months, you kind of get used to it.
yeah,
I mean, what I found is the most tiring type of riding you can do is on a motorway, because you're
yeah,
always stuck in one position. So changing, even if it's for a short section, to do a little bit of twisties where you're moving about a little bit more, just kind of revives you mentally.
that's it. Yeah, yeah, does you a lot of good. I
Okay.
suppose this is also kind of the benefit of the V-Strom as well, because the seat is huge. I can shuffle forward, have a thinner seat. I can shuffle backwards and have a wider seat. So
Yeah.
there's flexibility within that kind of riding, which is nice.
You can stretch your legs out front, or you can stretch
I
your
can
legs to
just
the
stand
side.
up on the bike.
Stand up. Yeah. Stand up. Yeah. I do that. I do that every now and again on mine,
Mm,
just to kind of get a back stretch, stretch the legs, because that's the thing that gets on this one is the knees are bent quite tight
yeah,
if you're on your
yeah,
toes, and that can get painful after a little while. But
absolutely.
just take breaks. Right. So we've had the rain off. I haven't seen anybody comment on whose rain they preferred, as it were. But you sent me another clip, which was of some drone some drone
Blah, blah,
footage
blah,
that
blah,
you
blah.
took.
Yeah,
So we're about to have a look at it. So let's have a look at it, and then you can tell us about that. Loved it. So Mont Saint Michel.
Yep, Mont Saint Michel, beautiful as you can see, beautiful place. And this was somewhere that Ali and Hayden had wanted to go for a very very long time. They had previously been around that area, um, perhaps on a solo trip or with other friends. And yeah, they had seen it, but they'd never been there. So for them, that was on the bucket list to do. And I have to say that was the highlight of the entire trip. The only problem with it is because of its magnificence, perhaps it draws a lot of people. So once you get
It says a lot of
inside,
traffic coming and
yeah,
going. Yeah.
the queues for the buses were immense. And because it was a very hot day, we opted to walk. So it was about a 2 kilometer walk from where we had parked the bikes to the entrance of the castle.
Okay. So obviously you're very sensible and had walking gear to change from your biking gear into walking gear to do the 2 kilometer walk. Yes.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, we had no qualms with leaving the helmets with the bikes because one of us, thankfully, had brought along a lock. So we locked all the helmets together with the bikes. Job done, great. And then yeah, we just walked over there in biking gear, which is about as comfortable in the sweltering heat as it can be. So yeah, we had the choice: wait half an hour, 3/4 an hour for the bus in no shade, or just walk it. And we opted to walk. And
Yeah. Very good.
frankly, it's good that we did because I probably wouldn't have been able to get those drone shots if we didn't.
And so you. Oh, so that was along your walk that you
Yeah,
took those. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Very good.
So just
And
before we got to the bridge over the water, whipped the
is
drone
that
out.
is that is that bridge like a causeway?
Um,
Does it get submerged?
no, I
Oh,
think
okay.
originally it was a matter of where the tide was, depends on whether you have access to it. But I think they put the bridge in with the shuttles there just so it's a lot more accessible. At
Right.
the end of the
Okay.
day, they're charging you for parking, so might as well make the most out of the money, right?
Make the most of it. Keep them coming, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Which in a way is actually can be counterproductive because then it becomes more common, if you like. Lily
Yeah.
Northrop was asking if that's Penzance. So there is a place in Cornwall, funnily enough, called Mount St Michael,
Yes. So
which
apparently these places are, you know,
yeah,
I think Rhythmic was saying that they are kind of related, but it's the French have done it better.
they've done it in French. They probably
Yeah.
did the Cornwall one as well because they the Normans. Sorry, just sun is falling on my green screen. Okay. Because I've been to I haven't been to that one, but I've been to Mount St Michael, and I know that that's on a causeway, and so we walked across, and we
Yeah.
had to take the ferry back.
Oh boy.
Yeah, yeah. You park on the shore side, and then
Mm,
if it's low tide, you can walk across. But if you're there when the tide comes, then you have to take the boat back.
yeah, makes sense.
Which in itself was quite a nice, interesting experience.
Yeah.
Is that National Trust? No, because it's in France. Oh yeah, Mount St Michael's Mount at Marazion. Yeah, it's quite good. Highly recommend it. But well, since you have shown some drone footage, then I'm going to show some of my drone footage now
Go for it. Yeah.
for my Scotland trip, and that's going to be in an upcoming video. There's already been one video from the Scotland trip, and I think this is going to be in like the second or the third episode because it was a bit windy in Scotland. So I didn't get to fly drone off because I was like, if I put this drone up here, it's going to go
Whoosh.
yeah. I bought the drone from Phil, Western Supermotor Vlog, when I went
Okay, yeah.
to the saddlebags ride. I sent him the money, and when I got there, he met me and he gave me the bag with the drone. And I basically took the drone, I put it in another bag, I took to Scotland, and the second time I took the drone out was for this.
Okay, yeah.
So tell me what you think. Obviously not the same as the drone coming in there. Yeah, upcoming in the video
Love
on the
it.
channel.
Yeah.
But I was so lucky with that Royal Mail van coming along at just the right
I was
time.
gonna say that tracking shot with the Royal Mail van is spectacular. It's amazing what just moving the camera and following something does for a cinematic view. And yeah, because I overthink everything, I love it when you do those sort of like sweeping shots from left to right or right to left. But I noticed, did you speed up the video footage?
Not for that bit, no. There was, I think, there may be
Okay,
one
yeah,
bit that I did, but not that bit.
yeah,
No, that was quite lucky that it came on
yeah,
just at the right time, and I was just like, okay, let me just keep this going, please.
absolutely, yeah,
I
yeah.
hope I'm
Please,
doing
please,
this
please.
right.
Hope you don't like slip a thumb or something, and the drone just snaps or
Yeah,
the camera gets jolted. But yeah, it's wonderful. And the drone is such a powerful piece of equipment to really, because it gives you all the views that you would never see from obviously the roadside or something. So to be able to get all the way up there and just say, right, this is where I am. Look at it in all of its splendor. It's yeah,
and it is, and Scotland is just absolutely stupendous, absolutely
absolutely.
stupendous. I've been
Yeah,
looking forward so much to going, and it didn't disappoint. And I don't care what the weather did. But yeah, it was just beautiful, 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 beautiful.
absolutely. Yeah. That's
So
brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
you've whet your appetite now with touring and with your trip to France and all that. So does that
Yes.
mean you're going to be going again?
So we are kind of umming and ahhing about the idea of perhaps going to Belgium because don't know, it's just something about the we had fun with the toll systems in France. I think it's okay. We've been there, we've done that. Great, fantastic. Let's go north, and just try somewhere like different. I think because France, it's very easy to sort of dismiss France, but it's huge, absolutely huge. And it's easy to forget how big it really is. So when you're going through the toll systems, it's kind of like, oh my god, we're spending more money. Take my money, I need to get somewhere, kind of thing. So
Hmm.
yeah, if we could go north, we'd have to do research, but I'm not sure if Belgium would have similar toll systems. But yeah, somewhere different, somewhere arguably I want to say more scenic, or just at least compact, so you can see
Yeah,
more
Belgium
in the
can be
same
quite
amount of
good. I
time.
mean, when I went last year, I took a little bit of the auto route out of Calais, but I tried to avoid it as much as I could.
Yeah,
Um, just because I think life is more interesting when you're actually seeing the little villages.
yeah.
Um, but what I found is if you go to France in August, everything is shut. They're all on holiday.
We had the
Yeah,
same problem trying to get lunch. It's like, what do you
exactly.
mean you closed at 2? I'm hungry.
Exactly. Two
I want
o'clock.
a coffee. Help.
No, we are open from 1:30 to 2 o'clock, and you are outside at this time, so
Yeah.
unlucky.
Oh, bugger me then, I guess. I'll just go hungry. Fine.
Whereas as soon as I crossed the border into Belgium, so I was in the Ardennes region, and as soon as I crossed into Belgium, that all the bars and restaurants were open, and there was life everywhere. So I think next time
Yeah.
from doing that, I'm going to go into Belgium, and that might be somewhere where I go this year. I'm basically going to make a call on the day that I leave, whether I'm going to go Luxembourg and Black Forest, or if I'm going to go down to the Côte d'Azur and do the Route Napoleon.
Fair play, yeah.
Because I think it will depend on what the weather is, and which one, where's the temperature more agreeable, and where is it not raining. So
yeah.
That's a good question. Depends what you call by country. I guess Wales and Scotland just count as the UK. So really France and Belgium so far. Yeah, that's all I've done. Yeah, Scotland is absolutely beautiful. Hi, Richard. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for joining. Cool. So yeah, no, I absolutely loved it. But I think part of the touring, it depends so you've gone in a group. So I've done a little bit. What I've done in the UK, I've gone in a group. When I went to France, I did it solo. And I think the difference is obviously when you're solo, you can do whatever the hell you want. And you can stop whenever you want. If you're feeling tired, you don't have to wait for somebody, but everything is on you. And a big part of the experience is kind of the people that you share it with.
Yes.
I'm sure when you're in France, with your friends and stuff, that's what makes it, right? It's sharing that experience with people. Thoughts on that? Would you ever consider like going solo on a tour?
This would sort of depend on everything. Jesus, children next door are screaming. So I think one of the issues that I have is when I'm presented with sort of new information, for example, the toll booths. Sometimes I'll look at it, but my brain will just go, "What am I doing?" So yeah, it's very simple once you know what's going on, but it's just the figuring out stage. So I think if I was going to do anything in Europe, I would prefer to do it with a group, perhaps a small group, or the same group. If it's anything in the UK, there's nothing really out of the ordinary, I want to say, from what we're kind of like used to. We do have toll roads. We've got a bit of this, bit of that, and you need some local knowledge here and there. But it's compared to Europe, and I think language is a massive thing as well when you're trying to get help when toll booth doesn't want your ticket. And the poor lady speaking in French, and she's desperately trying to tell you your friend has broken the ticket machine. So, help! And she's saying, "Use. There's another one above. Use that." And I'm sort of standing there.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what you're trying to say. So yeah, it's hilariously good fun to look back on. But when you're in that moment, it's kind of your brain's just blah, 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 what am I doing? So yeah, Europe with friends, absolutely. Anything in the UK, I think I would love to do it solo. Because as you said, when you're doing a tour with friends, yes, brilliant when you've got a fantastic group. Our limitations were there was a couple of our group where they wouldn't feel comfortable being on the bike for say an hour and a half, for example. So we were typically taking breaks every 45 minutes or an hour. So by the time we got back home and we came off the train, we sort of had a quick discussion. I just thought, well, you know what, we're back in the UK now. I'm just gonna bomb it home because I feel like I'm comfortable enough to do that last 2.5 hours. And I stopped off at South Mims, which is pretty good place because it's right next to the A1, the M1 as well.
No, you're well.
Yeah, along the M25, fantastic. So yeah, stopped there for about 15 minutes and then just carried on. And I think when I got the notification in the group chat of when they had got home, it was about a 2-hour difference. So yeah, it's quite interesting to see how much more distance, say, I could have covered by myself. But at the same time, you're there as a group and you're only going to go as far as, say, the most uncomfortable person. But that also opens up the possibility to give everyone that sort of respite from the road. Because as you say, when you're doing longer trips, especially along the motorways and such, if you're just crunching the miles, it does get very tiring. And I didn't really feel it until about half an hour after I got home, where I thought,
yeah, physically and mentally, it's
I'm
really
tired.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Andy's saying the problem with France is that it has become very expensive to drink. I have a comment here because during this trip to Scotland, I was shocked just how expensive it is.
Really?
I think we, one of the first day we stopped in Oban, and we were waiting for our dinner booking to become booking time to arrive. So we went to a pub, and I went to buy a couple of pints. I said, "Fantastic! I'm up here. I've gone to the north of England and past it, and I'm going to have nice London prices for beer." I was shocked.
Really?
I was shocked. I was going like, I am in Oban, right? I am not in London. Can I just double check this? I said, yeah, it's full of foreign tourists. It was full of German, Dutch, and Swiss tourists.
Come to
Not
drink
that
real
I'm
beer,
complaining. More specifically, the place I was seeing, they were Tyrol, so they were Italian Swiss.
Let me close my window real quick.
Yeah. Oh. So I was shocked as to how expensive Scotland was. Yeah, £8 for a pint in Chamonix. No, you went skiing. No, it wasn't that expensive. It was like £6.50, I think, for a pint, which I found shocking.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I count my lucky stars that I'm not a drinker, but
it wasn't just that. Like, so accommodation was expensive, the food was expensive because everything they drive the price up for everything.
Yeah, of course.
It's supply and demand, and if they can get away with it, then they'll make more money. Why wouldn't they? Spain is still the place. Yeah, I think. And if you go to Portugal, you find that Portugal is probably even cheaper than Spain. So yeah. But I can see that Aisha is in the chat. So this is my turn to kind of embarrass her a little bit because
oh no,
as I said,
run.
as I said, the trip is all about the people who you go with and who you share it with, and this is such a fantastic group. I've done 3 tours with them. Brian was new this time because he didn't go on the previous ones, but he's such a lovely gentleman. There's Aisha and Alana. And that's the picture I wanted to show everyone. Lovely, thank you. Love the love.
Everybody in the chat collectively now. Oh.
You don't remember that? Okay, let me remind you. There it is. that definitely happened. Any more plans? Any more plans for this year?
So yeah, part of the reason why poor Rhythmic couldn't be on the live stream tonight is because they've gone down to Somerset and they're currently on their way back. Traffic being what it is. We are planning to go back down there on the bikes, so that will be sort of a mini adventure in itself, probably just for a weekend or so, which would be quite nice. At the moment, that's
where was that?
Somerset.
Oh, okay.
I'm not entirely sure exactly where, but whilst the family were visiting family, Rhythmic's just kind of gone for a walk by himself, and he's suddenly just stumbled across the Somerset Railway. So here I am, minding my own business, and I'm getting pictures and texts from Rhythmic saying, "Oh, look, trains. Thanks."
So that's very nice. So that's very
Yeah.
nice. I'll say this: Dorset is absolutely stunning. Some of the places I've
Oh,
ridden through to get to Devon and Cornwall are absolutely very, very good. But just because you mentioned Rhythmic and he's not here, yeah, let's just have that. I'm kidding. That's
wow.
just a joke. That's just a joke. But yeah, look, it's been lovely to chat. Been lovely to catch
Yeah,
up.
absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm hoping to. It's just been a very crazy busy period. As I said, I'm about to go on a business trip tomorrow, then back. Then got to get some other stuff ready with the bike. Just make sure it's all prepped for France.
That's it.
Want
Yeah.
to change the brake fluid. Want to change the oil. Um, that kind of stuff. So yeah, just going to keep me busy for the next few weekends, and then it's off.
Yeah.
So whichever it is, I'm sure whichever destination it is I'm go after Fallenbray, I think it's going to be fantastic. Um,
Yeah. I'd say as well, like if you do find yourself sort of in the area of Normandy and you can get to Mount Saint Michel, there you go. It's well worth a visit because it is. The video will never do it justice, but it is amazing when you're riding along the roads and you see it in the distance, and it's like, is that a castle? And then yeah, you get there and it's magnificent. I will
Fantastic.
say, unfortunately, we didn't get to the top because it was absolutely rammed with people. But if you can get there when it's a little bit quieter, absolutely go.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think the plan is on the way back is to stop at some of the military cemeteries and the some
Yes.
memorials on the way
Yeah.
back, just on the way back to Calais. There is a very big sort of French national cemetery in the region, and obviously the different little memorials for the South Africans and the Ulster regiments and the Indian regiments and all that, and just to see a little bit of it, just to kind of pay respect to that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, is that the West Somerset Railway
Might have
or
been.
the Minehead Railway?
Yeah. I mean, Rhythmic seemed confused as to where he was. He just went for a walk and suddenly trains. So yeah, wherever he's ended up stumbling across, damn him.
Okay. Well, look, and maybe hopefully at some point in the not too distant future, I manage to come up to the Super Sausage and say hi in person.
Yeah. And
But
likewise, hopefully we'll get somewhere, nearish to where you are to, balance things out a little
yeah,
bit.
I just want to thank you for coming along and entertaining us with some chat about different things and showing us the lovely footage. I'm sure it was going to come up in some videos in the channel. I've only seen Grant's ones so far.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to thank everybody who's been on the chat interacting. So Grint XR, is it Kim to go or Kim to go? I can never tell how it's supposed to be pronounced. Is it Kim or is this rhyme with Kim? NDGSA Tractor, Slow Rider, Aisha, always great to chat with you. Richard and Carol, Bandit Man UK, thank you very much for supporting the live stream. Lily's already left, but thanks, Lily, for showing up. You're always in the chat there as well. So yeah, it's been great. Any last minute questions? That doesn't help. That doesn't help. So what does that mean? How do you pronounce that?
Time,
Kime. Okay, so Kime to go.
perhaps.
Okay, that makes sense because it's like time to go, time to go. Got it. Thank you for clarifying that. And yeah, hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for inviting me on. It's always nice to chat. And
Pleasure.
yeah, fingers crossed we can get Rhythmic on next time. That'd be nice.
I don't know. I think to get Rhythmic, we're gonna have to invite Sarah.
I mean, he is famous, so we kind of expect it.
Yeah, but
Yeah, he's a busy man nowadays.
Hope his ears are burning.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, I'll send him a message to make sure he knows.
Exactly. Tell him to watch. Tell him to watch, and don't forget this. Yeah, there you go. Just because he didn't show up, it's my revenge. All right, everybody. Good night. Enjoy. Have a great week, and I hope to see you soon. Take care, mate.
Half an hour.